Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal is a show that's been praised by critics and fans alike, having outrageous concepts like truck-sized spiders, demon bats, witches, and so much more set in a fictional prehistoric fantasy world. But among these creatures, the one that fans were terrified of most was the infamous zombie sauropod. It's actually not confirmed whether or not this sauropod was a zombie or if it was infected with a disease. Either way, it became one of the most dangerous creatures in the Primal universe after it was bitten by another infected dinosaur. Once it was bitten, it didn't take long for the infection to spread and completely overtake the sauropod, and eventually it went on a murderous rampage, slaughtering the rest of its herd before turning on the two main protagonists of the show. Little did Tartakovsky know he would be predicting a real-life case of a quote-unquote zombie dinosaur based on findings that were recently discovered. Okay, maybe it's not actually a real-life case of an actual zombie dinosaur, but how sick would that be? So no, while this isn't a zombie dinosaur, based on the discoveries made, there is enough evidence to show that this dinosaur suffered a terrible bone infection, causing it to look like a zombified dinosaur. This was discovered by a scientist at the USP School of Medicine, Tito Aureliano, after putting the fossil materials through a CT scan. Through this unprecedented procedure for these specific remains, they were able to find the effects of the infectious disease on the bones of the dinosaur, which can be compared to the same type of bone cancer seen in animals and even humans today. This bone infection is known as acute osteomyelitis. This causes the bone to become deformed and mainly occurs to children and only really occurs to adults as a possible chronic infection that develops after an open bone injury. Evidence of this disease can be seen on a leg bone of a titanosaur sauropod from the Cretaceous period. These spines were a part of a whole collection of both herbivorous and carnivorous dinosaur fossil remains that were discovered in Sao Paulo and have been studied by Aline Ghilardi, a professor in paleontology at the University of Rio Grande do Norte since 2006. But it wasn't until 2017 when Ghilardi noticed one of the fossil materials looked different from the others, as this particular one had been covered with what they described as spongy lumps. These were lesions from the possible bone cancer the dinosaur may have suffered from, but this wasn't confirmed until the following year when the CT scan was made, showing more evidence of it from a microscopic level. It was soon discovered, using a 3D model of the fossil material generated by the tomography scan, that it revealed that the lesions were both external and internal to the fossil material. And to make matters worse, Aureliano says, considering how this disease acts in current organisms, the dinosaur must have suffered a lot until it reached the serious condition that we have observed, with the formation of these lumps and open wounds expelling pus through the legs, arms, and body. The general aspect would resemble that of a dinosaur zombie, or zombie, I guess, and that is a truly disturbing sight to see. They also had paleontologist Francia Riccardi Branco perform a biopsy on the fossilized tissue, where they discovered 10 microorganisms within the microfossil of the dinosaur bone. After making this discovery, they concluded it was parasites, but were unsure if the parasites were the cause of this bone disease or if they appeared because of it. Either way, it only made things worse for the titanosaur, as it lived on the rest of its days in absolute pain. Even one of the paleontologists said that this sauropod was basically rotting alive, and that in itself is not only a very unsettling thing to think about, but a sad thing too. Now, dinosaurs getting diseases is nothing new. In fact, I've already actually covered a dinosaur here on the show back in August when we talked about the leg bone of a centrosaurus that was infected with osteosarcoma, another type of bone disease. But the difference between these discoveries is that in this more recent case, this discovery is considered unprecedented, because apparently there hasn't been any other cases of parasites preserved within dinosaur fossil remains prior to this discovery, which is both a very interesting and disturbing thing to think about. But that pretty much wraps up this episode of Dinosaur of the Month. Thank you guys for tuning in on this Halloween special. I did have something else planned out for Halloween when it came to Dinosaur of the Month, because I was going to do like a little fun twist, but I ended up changing it when I found out about this because I thought this was a lot cooler. No offense to the last thing I was going to do. I don't want to say too much as to what I was going to do or what I had planned out for this month in terms of Dinosaur of the Month, because it's definitely something I want to save for next year. But if you absolutely want to know what it is, go ahead and join our Discord, because I pretty much give exclusive updates on what things that are happening with the channel. If you guys don't know, I have a joint Discord that I share with other YouTuber friends of mine, and we basically just talk about dinosaur shit all the time, pretty much. We talk about other stuff, but just mainly dinosaur stuff. So hey, if you're interested in that, go ahead and join it. I have a channel there there on the Discord, where I pretty much cover exclusive updates on all my content. So if you want to know more about that, you could join. But if you want another incentive to join the Discord, I also ask you guys what dinosaurs you want me to cover on Dinosaur of the Month, and I credit you guys. So hey, if you want to go ahead and suggest a dinosaur name, go ahead and do it in the Discord, because I'm not going to look at the comment sections on my YouTube channels if you guys are going to suggest a dinosaur there. I mean, I'll look at it, I'm just not going to ever do it because, exclusivity to Discord, it gives you more incentive to join. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'd say for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this pretty disturbing episode of Dinosaur of the Month, and very sad if you really think about it. Poor sauropod having to deal with all that pain in its life. And yeah, I totally used Primal as a way to clickbait you into this video, okay? We talked about it for 30 seconds before I changed the subject. Ha! Tricked you! Anyways, it's called trick-or-treating, so technically, I'm still following within the guidelines of Halloween, alright? So just leave me alone. Bye.